Making headlines, Vice President announces the administration has saved about $258.8 million from the state budget by halting wasteful practices. Vice President emphasizes the importance of preserving global trust in the Maldives' peace and unity while safeguarding against extremist ideologies. And Defense Minister expresses deep concerns about the exploitation of technology to manipulate and harm the youth.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdusatar. And now the news in detail. Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif announces the administration has saved $258.8 million from the state budget by halting wasteful practices. This announcement was made during his address at the inauguration of the digitized platform for the Corruption Risk Self-Assessment Toolkit developed by the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC. In his speech, Vice President emphasized the importance of integrity and honesty as essential components for sustaining national progress and success. He highlighted the concrete measures implemented by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz to curb corruption since taking office. Notably, he mentioned that President Muiz, in his inaugural address on November 17th, assured the nation of his commitment to ending the government's influence on the judiciary, which he considered a crucial step in combating corruption. Vice President also pointed out that President Muiz has abolished the settlement committee established by the previous administration to pay compensation under various names and has halted the practice of wasting money under the guise of development projects. The Vice President encouraged the ACC to prioritize conducting awareness programs for the public and school children to address corruption issues, in addition to their focus on investigating corruption crimes. At the ceremony, Vice President inaugurated the digitized platform for the Corruption Risk Self-Assessment Toolkit and presented the service award to two long-serving employees of the ACC who had each dedicated 30 years of service to the institution. Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif emphasizes the paramount importance of preserving a global trust in the Maldives' peace and unity while safeguarding against extremist ideologies during his address at the National High-Level Conference on Peace and Security at Crossroads, Maldives. Highlighting peace as foundational to the Maldivian society's progress and harmony, Vice President credited the nation's peaceful nature and values of compassion, patience and unity for its reputation as a heaven on earth. He underscored the necessity of maintaining international confidence in Maldives' harmonious ethos as a national imperative. The Vice President outlined the conference's objectives, stressing its role in fostering collaboration among state institutions to promote peace, societal cohesion, and resilience. He emphasized the need for concerted efforts to enhance safety and security, outlining the conference's mission to set future safety goals and implement corresponding measures. Addressing challenges posed by globalization, Vice President cautioned against extremist ideologies and political exploitation that could threaten societal bonds and lead to activities like terrorism. He underscored the critical role of education in nurturing children according to Islamic principles, advocating for initiatives that promote genuine Islamic knowledge and awareness across society. In conclusion, Vice President expressed a confidence in cultivating a new generation committed to Islamic values, emphasizing patience, tolerance, patriotism, and unity. He urged all citizens to collaborate in achieving these objectives for the nation's prosperity and development. Minister of Defense Mohammad Ghassan Maumoon expresses deep concerns about the exploitation of technology to manipulate and harm youth. He expressed the concerns during his address at the National High-Level Conference on Peace and Security.
Minister Ghassan underscored the alarming use of technology to spread far and propagate harmful ideologies, specifically targeting the nation's youth. He lamented that at a crucial juncture where youth participation is pivotal for national development and productivity, they are instead being influenced by destructive ideologies. He also emphasized the rising threat of terrorist activities, noting an increase in efforts to recruit new members, particularly those previously uninvolved. Acknowledging the complex challenges and costs associated with combating terrorism, Minister Ghassan affirmed ongoing efforts under President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's leadership to mitigate these threats in the Maldives. He stressed the necessity for comprehensive collaboration among all relevant stakeholders to effectively safeguard national security. The National High-Level Conference on Peace and Security serves as a critical platform to bolster the capabilities of the National Counter-Terrorism Center and affiliated agencies. It facilitates strategic discussions among government officials to advance policies and priorities aimed at preventing terrorism and combating violent extremism.
Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammed Saeed departs on an official visit to the United States, US, to discuss trade relations between the Maldives and the US. The Economic Ministry stated that Minister Saeed will meet with senior US economic leaders and officials from the country's trade agencies, as well as representatives from the US Chamber of Commerce. The primary goal of the visit is to hold extensive discussions aimed at strengthening economic ties and attracting trade and investment between the two countries. Earlier this year, in May, Minister Saeed announced plans to address challenges related to PayPal usage in the Maldives. During his talks with the US government, PayPal, an e-wallet application, is widely used by Maldivian citizens for sending and receiving money online. However, it can currently only be used to send money abroad. Minister Saeed also intends to discuss enabling the receipt of funds through PayPal. Additionally, Minister Saeed highlighted President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's commitment to facilitating financial transactions through online payment systems and e-wallets. He noted the rapid introduction of various e-wallets while acknowledging the challenge posed by the small market size in the Maldives. To overcome this, he suggested exploring the possibility of introducing services through a single channel, potentially including neighboring countries. The government of Lithuania expresses Lithuania's keen interest in collaborating with the newly formed National Cyber Security Agency of the Maldives. Ambassador of the Republic of Lithuania to the Maldives made the remarks in an interview with PSMNEWS upon assumption of her role.
The ambassador highlighted Lithuania's advanced capabilities in information and communication technologies (ICT), noting significant opportunities for cooperation in both governmental and private sectors. Lithuania, renowned globally for its cybersecurity expertise and ranked 6th in the Global Cybersecurity Index, aims to share its strategies and competencies with the Maldives' cybersecurity initiatives. The ambassador expressed readiness to engage in discussions with the Maldives Cybersecurity Center to explore mutual interest and foster development in this critical area. Ambassador Mikiwechene, who presented her letters of credence to President Dr. Mohamed Muizz on July 8, emphasized that her appointment marks a milestone in bilateral relations, underlining Lithuania's commitment to enhancing ties with the Maldives. While based in New Delhi, in India, as a non-resident ambassador, she aims to facilitate closer ties between businesses and institutions of both nations. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1999, the ambassador highlighted collaborative efforts between the Maldives and Lithuania in various global and multilateral issues, including climate change. The ambassador also mentioned Lithuania's Indo-Pacific strategy aimed at strengthening relations with democratic nations in the region adhering to UN principles. The National Cybersecurity Agency, established by President Dr. MNEWS in March, signifies Maldives' commitment to enhancing national cybersecurity and acting as a central point for cybersecurity initiatives nationwide.
Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shiam highlights the Maldives' commitment to transitioning from exporting unprocessed fish products to processed ones during his participation in the 36th session of the Committee on Fisheries of the FAO in Rome, Italy.
Minister Shiam underscored the vital role of the fisheries industry in the Maldives' economic landscape, noting that it employs 11% of the national workforce. The minister emphasized the Maldives' leadership in sustainable fishing practices and conservation of marine resources, while acknowledging the challenges faced in maintaining these practices without adequate international support. He requested international assistance to enhance fisheries sustainability, particularly for small island developing states (SIDS) like the Maldives. He pointed out that high costs associated with processing fish for international markets have been a barrier, leading to the export of unprocessed fish products. Minister Shiam expressed the government's commitment to resolving this trend and reducing exports of unprocessed fish. Additionally, he urged global leaders to implement significant measures to support sustainable fishing practices, emphasizing adherence to FAO's guidelines and principles of fairness and equity. During the FAO session, Minister Shiam engaged in discussions with FAO's Deputy Director General, Maria Helena, focusing on the Maldives' initiatives to promote both the fishing and mariculture industries.
Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works Adam Sharif Umar announces commitments to resolving the current limitations on solar power installations in the islands of the Maldives. He made the announcement during a ceremony marking the completion of the solar street light installation in Himafushi Atoll, funded by the free grant from the Chinese government.
Currently, 2,163 students are enrolled in higher education programs either within the Maldives or abroad. The ministry acknowledges occasional delays in disbursing course fees and living allowances, attributing these delays to late document submissions and the time required for universities to confirm students' enrollment.
Controller General of Immigration Muhammad Shamman issues a warning stating that legal action will be pursued against individuals who employ illegal expatriates.
In a social media post, Shamman emphasized that it is unlawful to engage in financial transactions with foreigners or to hire unauthorized foreign workers, according to the Maldives Immigration Act. He also noted that violators will face penalties as stipulated by the law. Additionally, Shamman highlighted the authority given to the Controller General of Immigration to penalize individuals that employ illegal expatriates, including fines up to $3,242 and temporary passport retention. He also urged public compliance with the Act and the regulations made under it. The Maldives Immigration has launched a joint operation in collaboration with the Maldives Police Service (MPS) to identify illegal immigrants across the nation. Under this operation, several immigrants have been brought up to the custody of the Maldives Immigration. The government plans to expand the operation to encompass all islands in the country within the coming year. In addition, efforts are underway to centralize information on all foreigners in the Maldives into a unified database, aiming to resolve related issues within a 3-year time frame.
India has launched the world's first compressed natural gas (CNG) powered motorcycle.
The motorcycle, named Freedom 125, was designed by India-based manufacturer Bajaj Auto and unveiled by Indian Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari at a launch ceremony in Pune in the western state of Maharashtra. Gadkari said the Freedom 125 will be cost-efficient as CNG is cheaper than petrol and diesel in India. He noted that it is going to save not only the country's environment from pollution, but also save the country's imports. Pollution is a growing problem across India. Attempts to cut vehicular emissions, reduce fuel imports, and curb stubble burning have not yielded great results in a country where the proposed coal power capacity is the highest after China.
Brazil has put into effect a free trade agreement with the Palestinian Authority that has been waiting for ratification for more than a decade in a show of support for the Palestinian people.
President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva mentioned the agreement during his speech at the 64th Mercosur summit in Paraguay. The leader said he regretted the deal occurred in the context of war. Brazil, which recognizes a Palestinian state and allowed a Palestinian embassy to be built in the Brazilian capital in 2010, ratified the agreement between the Mercosur trade bloc of South America and the Palestinian Authority that had been signed in 2011. Brazil's foreign ministry said in a statement that the agreement is a concrete contribution to an economically viable Palestinian state which can live peacefully and harmoniously with its neighbors. It was not clear whether other Mercosur members would follow suit. Argentina's right-wing government of President Javier Milei is not expected to do so. The foreign ministries of Uruguay and Paraguay did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Palestinian ambassador in Brasilia, Ibrahim Al-Zeben, called Brazil's decision courageous, supportive and timely. He said that it is the effective way to support peace in Palestine, adding that he hopes Palestine trade with Mercosur, currently only 32 million a year, will grow.
Novak Djokovic produced his best display so far at this year's Wimbledon to dispatch Denmark's Holger Rune 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 and reach the quarter-finals for the 15th time on Monday.
With Kylian Mbappe leading their talented squad, France were well among the favorites when they arrived in Germany. But they have come under fire from fans and pundits alike for a string of unimpressive performances and have reached the last four without scoring a single goal in open play. Despite reaching the final of the last two World Cups, winning in Russia in 2018 and losing only on penalties to Argentina in Qatar 4 years later, their Euros record under coach Didier Deschamps is less impressive. In his 12 years, their best result was a runner-up spot in 2016 on home soil. On Friday, they only edged past Portugal on penalties, with Mbappe substituted after another match where he spent more time fiddling with his mask than setting up his teammates. Deschamps' France often managed to be duo and dramatic at the same time. Defensively solid, they tend to waste chances up front, and they survived against Portugal, partly thanks to similarly wasteful Cristiano Ronaldo. Mbappe's form after sustaining a broken nose in France's opener and that of Antonio Griezmann remain big question marks ahead of the clash with Spain, who overcame a raucous Stuttgart Arena crowd to beat the hosts with a goal in the final minutes of extra time. However, it remains to be seen if it is enough to get past a highly aggressive Spain, who are in imperious form with 5 straight wins so far at Euro 2024, but who will be missing several key players in Munich. Midfielder Pedri is out of the tournament after sustaining a knee injury in a nasty clash with Germany midfielder Toni Kroos in their dramatic win on Saturday. Substitute Michael Merino's header in the 119th minute gave Spain a 2-1 win in a nerve-wracking encounter that ended with 16 bookings, including a yellow card for centre-back Robin Lenormand and a red for full-back Dani Carvajal, meaning both are suspended for Tuesday's game. Real Madrid defender Nacho will play centre-back alongside Aymeric Laporte and 38-year-old full-back Jesus Navas, the last player of Spain's golden generation who won the 2010 World Cup and back-to-back Euro titles in 2008 and 2012. Navas will share the right-hand channel with 16-year-old winger Lamine Yamal, one of the players of the Euro so far harassing opponents' defenses together with Nico Williams, 21-year-old. All in all, the team is a blend of deep experience and raw talent that has been thriving under the calm guidance of coach Luis de la Fuente.
Iraq exhibited several ancient artifacts that it said had been returned by the United States and other countries long after they were looted and smuggled out following the 2003 U.S. invasion.
Iraqi authorities have been trying to retrieve thousands of archaeological relics missing since the invasion, which was followed by widespread looting in the country that some historians regard as the cradle of civilization. Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein handed the recently recovered relics over to Culture, Tourism and Antiquities Minister Ahmed Fakak al-Badrani at a ceremony in Baghdad. Most of the artifacts on display at the Foreign Ministry headquarters were returned by the U.S. after a visit by Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani to Washington in April. He said other relics had been returned by other states but gave no details. The country's foreign minister states that more rare archaeological collections would be returned by Switzerland and Japan this month.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant day ahead.